How's it going, guys? This is weekend 3 of the final build, and today we're just continuing the teardown. So you guys remember, we already got the engine transmission out, we already got the subframe and everything out. So we're going to go ahead and continue the teardown of the engine bay here, because I have word that my paint and everything is coming in next week, so I would like to get this hopefully done so we can start painting and redoing this next week. That is probably a long shot, but we will see because it is still quite a rat's nest. But we're going to go ahead and start off today by undoing both of the radiator here and the intercooler down there. We just want to get those out. I want to undo the headlight buckets, get these removed. Of course, just simple stuff like this. I did get a new brake master cylinder and brake booster, but I think that's going to be kind of hard to get to, so we'll see how that goes. Most of this is going to be able to be removed with the exception of maybe the AC lines. I don't really know if I'm going to be able to remove those yet. I want to remove these hard lines right here, which I'm not using anymore because I'm using AN lines that were for fuel and everything. I want to get rid of those, so we'll see if we can do that as well. And then just kind of clean up small stuff that's just bolted on here that we just want to remove for the time being. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Pulling the radiator is going to be super easy. Bolt, well, theoretically a bolt. Mine has nothing, as you can see. And then this slides up and out. I might go ahead and remove the fan shroud. I think that those have to come out separately. And then my intercooler is just these pipes through the wheel well, and then it's held on up at the top and at the bottom. So I'll go ahead and pull that. Just get all that out of here. And yeah, I'm just going to update you guys along the way, and we'll see how things go. Alright guys, we made some pretty good progress. I got the radiator out, and then I got this headlight bucket out. Let me go ahead and show you how to remove a headlight bucket, just in case you ever need to, or you want to do the front end swap like I'm going to do. Basically, you need to disconnect the motor. The motor sits back here, and then so you're going to take the motor out, and then you're going to take the headlight bucket. So let's come over to the side. I'll show you. If you pop this little cap off the back of your headlight motor, it's a little easier on the other side because there's not a fuse box right next to it. Alright, once that's off, you can see there's a little knob. Just turn this knob and you'll see that little arm moves. Slowly but surely it'll go. And once you get it all the way forward, your headlight will be up all the way. And the reason I do that is because I want to take out the headlight here. You probably don't need to, but it makes it just a little bit easier to kind of get in and disconnect everything. But we're going to go ahead and put this forward. We're going to disconnect this arm after we pull the headlight out. So the headlight, we'll go over to this one. So there's this black bezel on the front of the headlight, and it's got a hole right there and a hole right there. It's two small Phillips heads. You'll pull it off, and then you'll be left with just the headlight itself like this. And then you can pull your headlight out with this piece. It goes around it to hold it in. And these screws are mostly retained. You can see I lost one, but the others try to stay in, so it's not too bad to get them out. Again, small Phillips heads. Pull this guy off, pull the headlight out, disconnect it, and then that should give you plenty of access to inside here. You don't really need access, but again, it is just a little bit more helpful to get all the plugs undone in there. And then we'll go ahead and disconnect that arm. So this is just a little 10mm. We'll pull that off. And then what we can do is disconnect the headlight motor. We're going to get this bolt right here, and then down in that corner, that bolt right there. And then under this flap, this small 10mm right here. So those three hold on the headlight motor bracket. We'll go ahead and pull the headlight motor out, and then you'll be left with just the bucket itself. The bucket is kind of difficult, but it is one here, one under here, and then that guy right there, and then there's actually one underneath here as well. Those are all 12mm, so it's just 4 12mm. You go ahead and get all those off, and then you can see these are seam sealed on, so they're not like, it's kind of like a slight glue, but it just comes right off. So once you go ahead and get everything undone, you just kind of wiggle it back and forth, and eventually it will break. You can see it's not like super strong. You just have to kind of move it back and forth just a little bit, and then your headlight bucket will come out. So that's pretty much it. It's pretty easy. Nothing too difficult to get everything out here. It's just kind of like in awkward positions. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that one out as well. And then you can see we're making pretty good progress. I started going ahead and disconnecting these zip ties holding in this wiring harness. So these are, you can see, They're reusable, quote-unquote reusable zip ties. So they have a little tab in them that you can use a pick to press open, and then it'll disconnect. So I highly recommend going ahead and just disconnecting all of these. I'm going to pull off this whole harness up here. We're going to see if we can get all of that, because this goes up and around and then back down that way for all those. We're going to grab all those, wrap them back around over here. So I think I'm not going to pull all the harness out of it. I think it's going to still stay through over here, but we're going to have it go up and over, and I'm just going to sit on top of the windshield so that we can paint all of this without worrying about the harness. Alright, well, I think that is pretty much it for now. I'm going to pull that headlight bucket, and then we're going to work on the rest of this wiring. Alright guys, I got that headlight out. I did not remove the headlight itself. When I did that, I just reached through this back hole here to unplug everything, and it was fine. So if you're not taking your headlights out, there's really no reason to go ahead and pull the headlights, just extra steps. It's not too hard to get around everything. But after that, I went ahead, undid some clips on the wiring harness, so it is pretty much undone all over here. These ones are little, so you can see these clips. They're kind of those type of clips. I used a pick to reach into these little holes here to push the sides in and pop them down. They are in good condition, so I don't imagine they would break too easily on most cars, so not too big of an issue. I went ahead and then, if you can see, moved on to the AC condenser right here. Well, technically I did the AC lines first. So here are the two AC lines. This big one that wraps around up and over that way. This end right here was over here next to the AC compressor, and it goes down. Ooh, a Roadrunner. Say hi. This is the State Bird New Mexico, guys. He's pretty cool. It was nice we got to see him though. He's just chilling over there. Alright, back to this. So it runs down across the bottom. It actually connects to the subframe, and then back up around over here, and then into this guy right there. So what I did is grabbed two of these just adjustable wrenches right here, put one on the fitting, if you can see right there on the back, and then the other one on the line itself. You can see it looks like this. And then the actual fitting itself is what spins. So this spins freely of everything else. So that's the thing that undoes it, kind of like a garden hose. Got that end off, and then the rest of this was just pulling it off. It was held in with like a little clip into that guy right there. And then that whole line came out. This other smaller line here, it went from the AC compressor on this side, that guy, over to the evaporator core. So it comes through the front here, around through this little pocket, and then up to the front. And let me see, yeah, it bolts in right here. So you just go ahead and undo this. This is a 12 mil. That pops this out super easy. And then of course we have another one of those fittings right here. This guy doesn't move, but then the line over here, this is what was attached to it. This does spin, and then it is also bolted just to hold it on to the evaporator core right there. So this is the last AC line that we need to go ahead and remove. Well, kind of. And it goes up over to the, I believe this is the AC dryer on this side, and then the dryer goes from here into the firewall over there as well. So that should be it to remove the entire AC system. I'm going to go ahead and put like saran wrap over those ports, and then like plugs and saran wrap over everything else here, because even though we're going to be going ahead and vacuuming everything out and recharging it once we're done here, we don't want any dust and anything getting here, because that can severely compromise the life of the AC compressor itself, and all the seals and everything in the system. So we're going to go ahead and make sure, even though these are kind of gross, we're going to try to keep them as clean as possible, just so we don't have to go ahead and have an AC shop make us new lines in the future. But we're going to have, I think this one here, this big hose, we're going to have that one remade at least a little bit, because that one's, actually both of these probably, because the AC compressor is getting moved, and I don't think those are going to be able to fit where the AC compressor is going. So we'll work on those once we get everything back in here, and we'll take it to an AC shop, and then we'll just have them do it for us. But the rest of this is looking pretty good. I'm going to remove the rest of those lines right there, and then I'm going to just take off that evaporator, or dryer, I think is what it's called. And then I think we'll have enough room to get that harness out of here, so I'm going to work on that next. Alright guys, as you can see, the harness is still in here. I didn't quite get it all the way out, and I bolted a lot of stuff. There's actually a ground right there and a ground right here, which I didn't even know existed. But you can see it's hanging down over there pretty well. I believe this right here is for if you have an E-fan. Some models came with fans. They were push fans. They were on the front. I don't remember what models they were. I think they were mostly European though. I also went ahead and removed the hood latch up here. Nothing too crazy, just 3 bolts, and then this cable right here, you just kind of pop it. You just kind of pop it off. Nothing too crazy. But in order to get this harness out, I'm going to go ahead and try to remove all this stuff next. Brake master cylinder and clutch master cylinder. I went ahead and drained them pretty decently, but there's still going to be a bit of fluid left in the lines. But I think I'm going to leave that for next week. This week we made a pretty good amount of progress. I went ahead and cleaned up some of this. I forgot, pulled off the windshield wiper motor, that plate right there, and then just a couple other things along this firewall. There's a lot of little clips like this that I'm going to have to remove, and they're probably going to break, so I'm not really looking forward to that. But fingers crossed that we can find some replacements that work for that. But yeah, so next week we're going to go ahead and work on removing all the rest of this stuff. Those hard lines down there, I don't need them anymore. I can cut them or get the entire things out if I can reach them. But yeah, so next week hopefully we can get all of this completely done and start sanding, because I'm looking forward to all of those paint and stuff coming in. But there you go guys. If you have any questions, as always, definitely drop a comment down below and I will go ahead and answer it as best I can. And this is shaping up really, really nicely. I'm excited, and it looks really good. So I'll see you guys next time.